Good evening, Unity on the Bay. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to me. It's a beautiful day. I hope everyone enjoyed Mother's Day yesterday. We certainly did at Unity on the Bay. We had a wonderful discussion with a couple of great ladies who function in that sacred role of motherhood in their lives, and they shared their wisdom with us, and it was a beautiful, beautiful morning. So I'm really glad you're here for another episode of Shelf Discovery. We are continuing our discussion on the 7 spiritual laws of success by none other than our good friend Deepak Chopra. Hello, Cindy Binder. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good weekend, and I'm glad you're here. And if you are with us tonight, please let me know by posting something in the comments. That's the only way that I know that you're part of the conversation. And then keep on posting as the 30 minutes that we share together tonight proceed, because this is an interactive program and I lean very much on your participation. Good evening, Nancy. Glad you're here. Wonderful to see you yesterday. Hi, Callie. Greetings to you from Miami. Love you too, Cindy. What a great gathering. I'm just going to take this in for a moment as we gather together, because I often say, we think we're coming here. There's always what we think is going on. Hey, Paula, very nice to have you here. Good evening. There's always what we think is going on, and then there's what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, what we think is going on is not what's really going on. It's just what we think is going on based on our interpretation. So on that level, we come together on Monday evenings thinking, we're here to discuss a book, to grow and learn together spiritually. Certainly, I won't discount that, but I think we're here for a more important reason. I think these Monday evening gatherings are divine appointments. Now, the truth is, I think everything in our life is a divine appointment, but we're not always aware of it. Hi, Pam. Glad you're here. Our life is nothing but a succession of divine appointments, but we're not always consciously aware of that. And so frequently we think we're here for one reason, and we overlook the idea that our coming together on Monday evenings like this is a joining at the soul level. It's like a cosmic connection that we make. And just by being together and sharing together, we are, I believe, creating, for lack of a better term, I'll call it an energetic field that has a larger impact than we realize. It's more than just you or me. It's more than all of us together, because we're creating this energy field that we're sending out. So these moments that we share on Monday evenings, I think are very important. I love Monday nights too, Pam. More now since we've started Shelf Discovery than ever. And I love having all of you here. Your participation means the world to me. So we're continuing on 7 spiritual laws of success. Let me just let you know that regarding next week's program, you're going to have a wonderful time with guest facilitator, and he's not really a guest because he's a part of all of our hearts. Jason Weeks will be with you to facilitate next week's program, because this weekend I'm going to be spending with my son, who's flying in from Kansas City, Missouri. My family, it seems, is trying to get all of their trips to Florida on the calendar before my trip to Kansas City, because we've been enjoying now for more than 20 years trips to Florida. At any rate, tonight we're looking at the Law of Detachment, which is a very interesting law that's, like most of the laws that we've been studying in Deepak's book, sort of flies in the face of our human conditioning, what we've been taught and what we've been told. So I'm interested in what you think. Essentially, what he's about to tell us here in the pages of this chapter is that desire is everything. Intention is powerful. The results, or we would say in Unity perhaps the manifestation of our desires or our intentions, is essentially none of our business. And if we become too attached to the specific way in which our intention or desire is going to manifest or show up, the result of the work, we we inhibit ourselves from being able to benefit truly, really and truly, from the field of infinite possibilities that is actually our natural dwelling place. So the law of detachment helps us to awaken to the realization that we are not chained or bound in any way to the past. Whoever we were yesterday, we're not chained or bound to it. Whatever or whoever we were 5-10 years ago, we're not bound to it. Unless we are predicting the future to find the current past of our Deepak. Spiritual law of yes. The law of attachments to acquire anything in the universe, you have to relate to it. Hey, Kelly, here are changing. Are better than you believe that. I'm here, my. Say that again. I think it's cool. The law says that in order to acquire anything in the physical, you have to relinquish your attachment. Strange statement, but I think it's true. It doesn't mean you give up the intention to create your desire. You don't give up the intention. You don't give up your desire. You give up your attachment to the specific result. Giving up your attachment to the specific result. This is a very powerful thing to do, he says. The moment you relinquish your attachment to the result, combining one pointed intention with let me start that over again. The moment you relinquish your attachment to the result, combining one pointed intention with detachment at the same time, you will have that which you desire. I'm going to say that again, and let me know what you think about this. The moment you relinquish your attachment to the result, combining one pointed intention with detachment at the same time, you will have what you desire. So you see, this is all about getting clear and solid and focused on our intention and our desire, with total detachment to how that desire manifests or to the end result. He says anything you want can be acquired through detachment, because detachment is based on the unquestioning belief in the power of your true self. So what are we leaning on here to fulfill our desire or our intention? Our own methods and our own means? I think not. We're coming to believe more solidly that there's a higher dimension of us to which we have, depending on who you are listening to, considered to be like a dream. It's like a dream state or a state of illusion. And there is another dimension of who we are that supersedes or transcends that. It's the power of your true self. He says attachment, on the other hand, is based on fear and insecurity. And the need for security is based on not knowing the true self. The source of wealth, of abundance, or of anything in the physical world is the self with a capital S. It is the consciousness that knows how to fulfill every need. That's why manifestation is none of our business. Because we cannot conceive, we're operating in this sort of tiny spectrum of options and possibilities. And what we're living in, hey, Wendy, so glad to have you here tonight. Welcome. Oh, lost track of where I was. At any rate, let's see. Attachment, on the other hand, is based on fear and insecurity. And the need for security is based on not knowing the true self. So the true self is that level of infinite intelligence and creativity that knows exactly and precisely how to fulfill our desires and our intentions, much more so than we do. So this involves key elements in the spiritual journey, two of which are trust and faith. In other words, we establish the intention. We set the desire, we're clear on it, and we're solid, and we experience its power without any attachment to how that desire or intention is ultimately going to manifest. The source of wealth, he says, of abundance or of anything in the physical world is the self with a capital S. It is the consciousness that knows how to fulfill every need. So the question really becomes is, do we believe that there is a higher transcending dimension to ourselves that can bring forth through the act of our personal surrender, our own, again, methods and means? Do we really believe in that? And to the degree that we're able to believe in that, we're able to release our own past. We're able to release the way things were, which is so often the way we think things need to be, because we're prone to want to maintain the status quo. And yet, the status quo is a very stagnant place because we're in an evolutionary process and we don't want to hold that back. Pam gets it? Absolutely. I'm willing to buy it more and more. At this point, in my life, it's kind of interesting because I've been trying to more and more surrender, trust, allow, and to listen to what is often referred to as the still small voice within for instruction and guidance. And as I do that, I get instruction. Like I remember, it was probably about this time, a little earlier last year. Perhaps it was during the fall of 2020 when that voice said to me, "It is time for you to retire." And I'm telling you, retirement was really not prevalent on my mind. But I heard the voice. And I know when you hear that voice, when you get that message, when you get that intuitive punch, so to speak, or tap on the shoulder, maybe that's a better way to put it, you must follow it. And then people immediately responded by saying, well, if you're retiring, what are you going to do? And my answer is, at that point, especially, I didn't know. I just knew it was time to make that change. Eventually, it became clear to me, and I still feel like it's a day-by-day process. What am I going to do? I'm moving back to Kansas City. I'm moving toward the embrace of my family again, physically, geographically. Beyond that, I don't know. And while I don't really always feel comfortable in that unknowing, I'll be quite honest with you, I have a level of excitement and anticipation about it because of the trust and because of the certainty that came with the instruction toward the desire to create this change in my life. Okay, what's going on here? Nancy says, Reverend Chris, I'm more in a place. Oops, I just lost that. I'm sorry, Nancy. These comments travel quickly. Releasing how we think things should manifest. Yes. Thank you. That's what it is. And Nancy, of marveling at the moment that desiring a manifestation, I think I know where you're going with that, Nancy, but I didn't get the full statement, and I apologize for that. Christina, hello, Chris. I'm sorry I'm late. Never late, always on time. Glad you're here, Christina. And let's see, meditate with Cynthia. Day-by-day process that feels like following God. Yes. Thank you. Following God. Cindy. Right. It's about a vibration which aligns with the best for us. We may not even be able to imagine it. So head for the vibe, not the thing. Yeah, head for the vibe. And the desire will fuel that vibration. Thank you, Cindy. I think it fuels the vibration. And that's all we have to be concerned about. It's like, I know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do when I get there. But I know what I am desiring, and I know where I am going. June. Hi, June. Glad you're here. I am dealing with this now. Lots of unknown. I think in many ways we all are, because the earthly circumstances that are surrounding us are really prompting us to step more completely into the unknown. Nancy, my bad. I'm more in a place of marveling at the moment than desiring a manifestation. I hear you on that, my friend. And I really do think ultimately that's where this is all leading. Whether one wants to call it a desireless place, or maybe the only desire is to be in the present moment and experience the presence of God that indwells us, more than a manifestation, and just marveling in the present moment. Thank you, Nancy. Angelica, hi, sweetheart. I'm sorry that we missed you yesterday, and we did miss you, but I know you were right where you needed to be. And Pam, and I believe even animals are guided on what to do, where to go with their best interest at heart. I totally agree, because I don't think animals are quite as disconnected from their, if I may say, intuitive nature, or just from their nature. So they follow it. And we oftentimes resist following it because we think we need to know all the specifics, all the details. And who has ever known all the specifics or all the details? And even if you thought you did, did that really bear out for you over time? Not so much in my case. June, I do not know where I am going to be living. What RV? Well, here's something, if you remember, hold on. Hey, Cookie, I'm glad you're here, my friend. Can I have a few minutes of your time? Angelica. I don't know if you're talking about now, but we could, if you email me, Angelica, I think you have my email, chris@unityonthebay.org. I'd be more than happy to set up some time for us to talk. Absolutely. Unless it's related to the subject for tonight, which is Deepak's book. But either way, I would love to have the chance to chat with you. So thank you for being here. Let's see where I was. The search for security is an illusion. The search for security is an illusion. In ancient wisdom traditions, the solution to this whole dilemma lies in the wisdom of insecurity, or the wisdom of uncertainty. Thank you, Angelica. I appreciate that. This means that the search for security and certainty is actually an attachment to the known. And what's the known? This is what I was paraphrasing earlier. What's the known? The known is our past. The known is nothing other than the prison of past conditioning. Think about that for a minute. Your sense of certainty is based on the known, which is the past. The known is nothing more than the prison of past conditioning. There's no evolution. Disorder. Okay. All right. I'm just getting a message here that I might be having some connection challenges. So I hope I don't lose anybody, and I hope we all can stay together here. Uncertainty, on the other hand, is the fertile ground of pure creativity and freedom. Uncertainty means stepping into the unknown in every moment of our existence. If you remember when we were studying Robert Brummett's book, Finding Yourself in Transition, and he talked about life being a constant process of endings, walking through the void, and new beginnings. And I've said many times, even though I'm not saying I necessarily appreciate or enjoy being in the void, which is the realm of infinite, invisible possibilities, I don't always, it takes away my false sense of security that I'm in charge of something, or that I'm making something happen. I don't always like that, but I always have believed it is the most natural state that we can be living in. Wendy, stepping out of the comfort zone. Yeah. Thank you, Wendy, because even though I know it seems like, I'm so comfortable and I just like it just the way it is and I don't want anything to change, that is a resistant statement to an individual who has identified themselves to be evolutionary and constantly living in a state of change and discovery. Kelly, when we let go of the known, however painful it may be, we allow something new to be birthed. It's the letting go that's hard. Yes, it is. And it can be really difficult because we grow attached not only to what is going on in our lives, but the way in which it is showing up. And Kelly, I know you've been really moving faithfully and powerfully through that in your own life. So thank you for sharing that with us. And Nancy's replying to Wendy, life is what happens while you're yeah, I've heard that quote before, Nancy, but I just have to laugh because it's so true. John Lennon, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. Life is what happens when we're distracted by everything and everybody that's going on outside and around and about us. All the while, the same cosmic energy that brilliantly orchestrates the activity of an entire cosmos is orchestrating our lives, regardless of what we think or regardless of whether or not we're comfortable with it. But I do think it's possible, and this is actually something I'm looking forward to after I experience this change that's coming in my life, is just allowing myself, setting up the environment for myself where I can more easily allow each day to unfold as it will. And trust that the way that it's moving will provide for the fulfillment of my desires, even if those desires are not necessarily worldly or material in nature. I notice the longer that I live, the more abstract a lot of my desires become. One of my great desires is to experience peace and to open myself more completely to the comfort and the confidence that comes from that, and releasing myself from thinking, my calendar is my Bible. So let's see, where were we here? Without uncertainty and the unknown, life is just the stale repetition of outworn memories. Interesting way to put it. You become the victim of the past, and your tormentor today is yourself left over from yesterday. I'm going to read that again. You become the victim of the past, and your tormentor today is yourself left over from yesterday. Relinquish your attachment to the known, step into the unknown, and you will step into the field of all possibilities. In your willingness to step into the unknown, you will have the wisdom of uncertainty factored in. The wisdom of uncertainty, the wisdom of infinite creativity and intelligence. This means that in every moment of your life, you will have excitement, adventure, mystery. You will experience the fun of life, the magic, the celebration, the exhilaration, and the exaltation of your own spirit. How can that be? Because you are not attached to a specific outcome. Because you realize that you don't know from your limited perspective, your current limited perspective, how things need to be. And this is a big one, because who wants to think they don't know how things should be? Who wants to think that they don't know how they should be? And who doesn't want to think they know how everybody else should be, how the world should be, how the government should be, how society should be? We all have some idea, some prescription. This is the way it ought to be. And if we run into somebody that doesn't have the same position or perspective, we oftentimes get into little quarrels with, well, I think it should be this way, and I think it should be that way. Instead of just, I don't know how it should be. Just take that in. I don't know how life, how the world, how my life should be. I do know what it is sometimes, but I certainly can't prescribe how it needs to unfold in the future. How's this setting with you, Shelf Discovery fans? It sounds simple, doesn't it? In every moment of your life, you'll have excitement, adventure, and mystery if you just learn how to walk and waltz into the unknown. Every day, you can look for the excitement of what may occur in the field of all possibilities. When you experience uncertainty, you're on the right path. Been feeling a little uncertain today, a little confused? It's not a bad thing. Someone once said to me, and I don't remember who to source this to, but it was, I just brought it in and I left it out. Here goes that train. Let's see. Oh, I know what it was. Confusion. Someone once said to me, confusion is the mother of enlightenment, or the precursor of enlightenment. So if you've been feeling a little confused lately or throughout the day, it could be on the verge of enlightenment. Confusion, not knowing, not having it all lined up, not fixing yourself on a map that says this is where I must go and this is where I must be. When you experience uncertainty, you're on the right track, so don't give it up. You don't need to have a complete and rigid idea of what you'll be doing next week or next year, because if you have a very clear idea of what's going to happen and you get rigidly attached to it, then you shut out the whole range of possibilities. Thanks, fam. I am in a good mood tonight, I will say that. So I'm glad it's funny, but I'm in a good space. And I'm really enjoying this experience. Think of it, Cindy says, as undiscovered rather than unknown. You're so wise, Cindy. I like that. Undiscovered rather than unknown. You know, I think it was Muji I was listening to the other day that was saying, it's all about discovery. It's not about even creation or manifestation. It's just about discovery. Russell, hi, Russell, my favorite author. Thank you so much for your copy of the book yesterday. I'm treasuring it. I realize that the older I get, I think you're saying the less I know. And I'll tell you, I'm right in there with you, my friend. Maybe that would be easier to do. It is easier to do because it's not as spooky, huh? It's like I haven't discovered it. And it has a little level of excitement, more excitement than trepidation in it, I think. So thank you for that, Cindy. It's a good word. All right, I'm going to wrap this up by sharing 3 rules, he says here. I don't know if he calls them rules per se, but steps, okay? So here's the first step, just to try it on. For tonight, for the week, for a lifetime. Number 1, I will commit myself to detachment. I will allow myself and those around me the freedom to be as they are. Can we do that? I will allow myself and those around me the freedom to be as they are. I will not rigidly impose my idea of how things should be. I will not force solutions on problems, thereby creating new problems. I will participate in everything with detached involvement. Kelly says, the older I get, the more I live. I don't think that is an imposing statement to the one that we just heard either, because I think sometimes the less we're attached to what we think we know, the more we can open ourselves up spontaneously to the content of the present moment, which is always, when we're really present, when we're really aware, an expression of the presence and power of God. Thanks, Kelly. Number 2, today I will factor in uncertainty as an essential ingredient in my life experience. Wake up in the morning, positive affirmation. Today I will be as uncertain as possible. I love it. In my willingness to accept uncertainty, solutions will spontaneously emerge out of the problem. Let's say that again. In my willingness to accept uncertainty, or in Cindy's vernacular, in my willingness to accept the undiscovered, solutions will spontaneously emerge out of the problem, out of the confusion, disorder, and chaos. The more uncertain things seem to be, the more secure I will feel, because uncertainty is my path to freedom. Through the wisdom of uncertainty, through the wisdom of the undiscovered, I will find my security. And finally, number 3, I will step into the field of all possibilities and anticipate the excitement that can occur when I remain open to an infinity of choices. I will experience all the fun, adventure, magic, and mystery of life. You ready to experience all the fun, adventure, magic, and mystery of life? All you have to do is master the art of living in uncertainty. And the reality is, as I often say, we don't really know, my friends, what the very next moment holds. We can pretty much be certain that every moment is a gift, but we don't know what's going to happen in the next moment. No matter how brilliant, no matter how educated, no matter how learned, no matter how spiritual we are, we don't know what the next moment holds. And that can create a really fearful state of mind if we're locked into our idea of the way things need to be. But it can also open us to a beautiful and expansive, unlimited realm of options, answers, possibilities, solutions to whatever may be showing up on the screen of our life. That's it. Amen on that, says Kelly. Loves number 3. Yeah, I do too. Most of the time. Going back to take a peek at that again. Anyway, folks, thanks for being here tonight. Love you all dearly. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Amen. I give my life, Course in Miracles, I give my life to God to guide today. Much love to all of you. Thanks again for joining me tonight. Remember, I'll be with my son on the beach next Monday night, but you will have the pleasure and the privilege of enjoying Reverend. To me, he is a reverend. To me, we're all reverend. Jason Weeks, a member of our staff, our director of marketing, communication, and creative, but he's also a brilliant spiritual soul who will be with you for self-discovery next Monday night, and then I'll be back the following week. Have a beautiful night. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. I behold the Christ in you, and I see you doing great things. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.